Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? Well, I didn't start this month off the way I wanted to. I started this month off the way I started the last 3 months, red. But it's really unnerving because April was a really tough month. It's the toughest month I've had in probably a half a year. I know we had some tough months last summer, but this one, it really took the cake. And there's a lot of reasons why that and things that I didn't deal with the way I should have. And we'll talk about that, here in a minute. But what I want to share with you before we go forward is, if you focus on you, you will grow. If you focus on the things that you need to do for yourself to help you become a better trader, you're going to keep growing. But if you focus on BS, you focus on other people's BS, and all the drama and all the garbage that has nothing to do with your trading, we can lump that into BS. That's going to keep growing. And you're going to end up looking like Chet from Weird Science. If you remember that movie, this is what happened to him. He was so full of BS and full of himself. This is what happens. And I don't think we want to end up looking like that guy. So we want to make sure we focus on you, and that's what's going to help you grow. Now, we're starting Monday, but I'm going to send out a video. I'm going to send you guys a link. I'm going to email you. You'll get the link when it's up and it's live. I haven't decided where I'm going to put it on the website yet, but you'll get the direct link to it. And it's going to introduce this 30-day challenge. And one of the things that I want you to start thinking about right now, and I'm going to mention this in the video, is that you're going to have to be willing to commit to the process. If you're not willing to commit to the process, this is not going to work for you. Okay, number one, you have to commit to me. You have to choose me as your teacher. If you don't choose me to be your teacher, you'll never learn a damn thing from me. It's just that simple. You have to choose to learn from me. So you have to make that commitment. But above all of that, you're going to have to make a commitment to yourself to do everything that you need to do in order to be the person you need to be successful in trading. None of us came into this with the right mindset, with the right skills, or anything. Some of us had more skills than others. Some of us did have a better mindset coming in than others. But none of us had everything we needed because it's not what we were taught growing up. It's something that we have to develop. And every now and then, even though you get to be a successful trader or on your way to being a successful trader, every now and then you're going to run into challenges. Things are going to, mess you up and you lose focus. Even me, I've been doing this for a while. But this month, I kind of lost focus. And really, it's been, maybe 6 to 8 weeks that we lose focus. And what's changed? A lot of times we don't even, it's so simple, it's in front of our face as to the dynamics and things that change. And everybody's going through this big change. We're going through the fact that we were all quarantined at home, most of us, for the last 2 months. And everybody's home. Everybody, my son's going to school from home. My daughter's finishing up her last semester in college from home. And my wife is working from home. She's going to school from home. And I'm the father. So I'm responsible for everything. I feel that responsibility. And because they're here, like when they're gone and they're off doing their own things, I can relax that feeling sometimes. But when everybody's home, I feel the responsibility to make sure everybody has what they need and has what they want. And that takes its toll on you, if I'm working from home too. So I lost focus. And I realized that. And that's why this 30-day refocus challenge, this is going to be really something that I need so that I can function, because we're going to be like this for a while. It's not going to change. So my focus has to change. And, that's what I'm going to be working on. So, you got to be ready to commit. Be ready to commit to the new trader that's inside of you, that's going to come out. The market's not the same as it was 3 months ago. We're not the same. Our family's not the same. This world is not the same as it was 3 months ago. So guess what? We've got to refocus. All right. So just to give you a heads up, these are the 3 books that I recommend you read first. The Power of Habit. I introduced that. Actually, I introduced all these books at one point before. And I've read these multiple times. And I've used the principles in here to help me every time I started to lose my way or to refocus. But The Power of Habit, we talked about that. Habit, the right habits are gonna make you successful. They make us great. The right habits. If we have the wrong habits, we'll never get out of our own way. We'll continue to lose money, continue to bleed out, and search for everything that's going wrong and not look in the mirror and fix our habits. The book Can't Hurt Me from David Goggins. I know you've probably heard this guy talk. You probably don't even really need to read the book if you go online on YouTube and hear him speak. But all of these books, you don't really have to buy them. They're online. There's summaries that you can download as well. And then Chris Gardner, I don't know how many of you have seen The Pursuit of Happiness, but this guy, and you know his story. But he wrote this book, and this is where the start where you are with what you have came from. Because a lot of us are so focused on what we don't have, and we don't realize that we have everything that we need to be successful. Because when I started learning how to trade, I had none of this stuff. I earned this. Everything that I have now, I earned. And I earned it through trading, but I didn't start with it. I had to work hard. I had to put in late nights, and just keep going through the process. But these are 3 books that where all of these principles that I try to teach and that I employ came from. So I wanted to give you that as a background. So if you want to look up and check out what these books are about, like I said, there's summaries online you can go to. You don't have to buy the book. And I'm sure there are PDFs downloaded or on the internet that you could get. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So today, we can see the SPY lost it. We lost that 285.54 level. We got up to 295, could not get the 300. I was looking for 300 before we had a pullback. But we lost it today. We lost that level. And next stop, I'll be looking to see what it does around the 20 next week. Things are not looking as good as I think people were expecting. We've got states that are opening up that are having more and more cases every day. I mean, it's going to get, like I said, it's going to get real ugly if the cases in these towns double. And this thing spreads to towns where they haven't had it before, because people are freely traveling now. You know, some people don't believe it. They may think it's a hoax, but all of these people that have died, and until it affects you and your family, some people may not respect it. But, you know, if we have a big wave come back, and the market's going to get ugly, and it's not going to stop at 218, 216, whatever it was when it dropped. It's going to keep going. And it's not going to be pretty. So I'm hopeful that we can manage this. We can keep it from having a more serious outbreak. That the hot weather coming will help some of the places. And so we'll see. But Monday, I'm going to be looking to see where this market ends up. You know, are we going to hold a 20? Are we going to sell through it and come on back to the 50? You know, it's going to be a interesting week next week. All right, so I'm going to go over. Yeah, I didn't have a chance to go over yesterday, but opening. Well, this wasn't really an opening range breakdown. This was more of trying to continue the trend. Even though this was the opening range low right here, this was after 10:30, so it wasn't a breakdown. I was just trying to catch the trend, and I waited for it to clear all of the levels that were up here, and I felt we had a free ride down to 201. But I got in, it turned around, stopped out, and that was that. And we're seeing a lot of that lately. A lot of that. DIS, this was an opening range trade that I tried to take. I waited a little bit longer. Here it set up to the short side, but I think there was something down there that is not on the chart that prevented me from taking it short. But it bounced, and we got on the long side of things. So this candle closed above the opening range high, and then this candle opened, and once we broke it, I got in it looking for the move up to the 50. Now at the time, the 50 was not looking like this. It was more flat, and there was at least a point, but I was expecting it to tap the 200. And that would have given me a nice point. And I didn't really plan on scaling out on this. I planned on taking at least 2/3 up here, if not all of it. And if it rejected, just go ahead and kill it. But another failure. It just crapped all over itself. So then we moved on to BA. And BA has been a really good trader for the last couple months. And we tried to catch some good trades in it. A lot of the good trades I missed or I didn't like because it just traded through all of the support and resistance. I don't take trades in through here. Some people do, but I just don't. And I think that's what keeps me safe and sane most of the time. All right, but I got short here once we lost all of these moving averages. I have no respect for VWAP, so I wasn't really shorting into it. If I could make this disappear and use my deviation bands, I would do it. And I'm probably going to take it off of this chart since I can. But I just don't use it anymore. It's just in the way. And there are a lot of traders that don't use it anymore. And I'm just one of them. But then there are a lot of traders that do. And they have strategies that utilize it. And that's fine. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just talking about for me personally. And what I do and how I trade, it's not something I really care about anymore. I used to trade off of it. It used to be a big part of what I do, but it's just not anymore. So I wasn't really concerned about shorting into that. 139 was going to be my first target, but it came all the way down and it started to bounce. So I went ahead and covered some. And as we came back, as soon as we made a new high relative to this candle, I took it off. And we rejected, made a lower high, and we started coming back in. So right at the low, I got in. But we found support, made a higher low, and I just took it off. It just looking at the price action, we make a higher low here. There's just nothing else in here. So this is kind of the frustrating mess I've been dealing with here. But we were red yesterday, 93.65. After a really good day on Wednesday, we come back to a mediocre day where just didn't have what it takes. So we closed out the month. So yesterday closed out the month. And you could see 3, 6, 7, 8 red days. And I usually only have 2 or 3 throughout the whole month. 4 at the most. But we've got 8. And then I don't really have any good winning days. I had this week, I only traded 2 days. We had a holiday on Friday. Didn't get to take a trade Wednesday. This week was really short. I didn't take a trade Monday. So I only had Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. And then these red weeks, it was a really, really tough week. And through everything, we still ended up making $1,767. Because we had a $900 last week, $800 week this week. The first week with 3 days, we had $415, but 2 red weeks in between. But still, we ended up, and it's all about managing our risk, being smart, not over trading, not chasing trades. That's what it's all about. And looking at our equity curve, we're going back in the right direction. Even though these last 2 weeks weren't the strongest of weeks, but they were better than anything the first couple of weeks. And there's nothing wrong with your curve rolling over a little bit. You can't win every week. You can't win every day. You can't win every week. Just because you go through a bad stretch with this strategy doesn't mean it's not working. Okay? And that's the hardest thing to get a lot of newer traders to understand. It's like all of a sudden they think, well, this strategy is no good anymore. We're just not going to do it. The market's not trending, so I can't trade this. I need to go find another strategy. And before you know it, you're even more lost than before. You just stay consistent. It doesn't matter if your accuracy goes from 80% to 40%. It doesn't matter. Stick to what you know. And if you have to make adjustments, if the market just stays in a funk for months at a time, then yeah, you've got to make an adjustment. You may not be making as much money through this, but you should not be going red. And you should not be bleeding your account if you stay inconsistent. And that's going to be the key. So I stayed consistent through these drawdown weeks. Stay 100% consistent. I'm still consistent. And looking to be a little bit more aggressive at the open. It seems like a lot of days after about 10:30 or 11, all of the major volatility is gone. And you get other stocks that pop on news and all that stuff, but I'm not looking for that. That's not what I want. So Just having to be a little bit more patient and gonna keep working things out. All right, so yesterday I tweeted this out. I tweeted it, put it out on Facebook, put it out on Instagram, because I wanted to hold myself accountable. I really messed up. I had a platform malfunction. I didn't realize that if it's set up on one computer, but I've got to merge it and have it set up on the other computer, or else my order stuff is not going to be right. So what happened was I had auto send, and I was trying to click buy and put it in the screen so that I could set it up for extended hours and just be ready to get in if it's set up. And it just kept sending the order out, but luckily it was on day, so it's not gonna hit. It has to be in extended hours. So instead of me fixing the auto send, I went ahead and did the fix the extended hours thing, and then went to click it again, and then it automatically filled. So because it started going up as soon as it filled, I was like, oh, okay, I don't want to be in now, but maybe we're just gonna pull back a little bit and then make the run back up if it was coming back. I convinced myself to just stay in this when I should have been out a long time ago. But ended up taking it off. I said if it broke this after I was in down here, I said if it broke this, I would go ahead and just take it off because we'd be done. And that's what happened. It wasn't anything else but me. I can't blame the platform because it wasn't its fault. It's the person operating it. That's whose fault it was. So, had to eat it. I didn't have any other choice. But today, we got a little bit of it back. I wasn't going to sit here and force it and size up and try to get it all back in one swoop. But if we have a couple of good days trading on Apple over the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to make it back and then some, if it sets up. So this one, really set up. This one, textbook opening range breakout on this. I wish it wasn't as high priced of a stock because I could have done it in the other account. But the strategy still works. The problem is I'm picking the wrong damn stocks. Here's right here, case in point. WDC was on my watch list. It reported earnings. I saw a big window down. Now, the opening candle kind of took up some of my thunder, but I was like, fine, we're sitting right on, right above this daily level here. So under this, we got some room to go. And I got in. As soon as I got in, it dipped a little bit, and then it ripped back up and stopped me out. Just like that. So I'm like, you crazy. Roku, really nice opening range breakdown. GILD, really nice opening range breakdown. Breakdown. A lot of stocks I had on my watch list did really, really well. The one that I picked didn't. So it's all about stock selection. So I can't blame the strategy because you're going to have losers. It doesn't work all the time. But I seem to have a good habit of picking the ones that aren't, that's not going to work. So I wish I could get paid for that. But WDC just did not work this morning. So we had to kill that. BA was the one that we hitched our wagon to. You can see it did have a really nice sell-off here, but I couldn't, I just could not trade it above here. I had to wait for it to get below. Now, I would have made money if I would have shorted it on the breakthrough here. I would have made money on this trade, but that's not the rule I have. So I had to wait. This thing opened up. It pushed up a little bit, and then it started to sell. Once we broke the low here, I got in. I felt pretty good about it, and then it chopped me out. I waited. We broke this low. This candle was solid red when I got in. It looked really good. I got in. It chopped me out. Now, I accidentally added when I was supposed to be stopping out, which is what this cluster is, but that was that. But guess what? I missed the nice entry up here, and I kind of waited and chased it down a little bit. I had to hold through a little pullback here to the 9, but this is not an entry. I give myself an F on entry here. I was waiting to get in once it broke the low here, but technically I could have gotten in right here and could have locked in a lot more profit. But because this was too close to this level here, the low, I just decided to wait, and that's when I got in here and did make some decent profit. I mean, it still made a really, really good move. And only got stopped out on the last, 25 shares, but this was a profit stop anyway. And then later on in the day, we were trying to get the late day fade. Here I was sitting out, chilling and relaxing on my phone and thought we could do this. I got in and forgot about it. Completely forgot. Just got caught up in other stuff. And thankfully, when I logged back in to take these snapshots and stuff, I saw that I was in, and it did hit the level. This was the target right here. This 132.90 was the target, and it did hit right before the close. But when I got back, it was like after the market had closed, and I was like, well, but that was just a little hit. It wasn't really much at all. But that's kind of how the day went. You could see the two stop outs up here really put me in a hole. Well, really it was three. It was WDC was the first one, and then these two back to back. It was not good at all. So, but we got a little bit back, maybe half of it back. I don't know. I didn't look at where it was at the time. But that's going to do it. That's all she wrote. So did not start this month out on the right foot. But we'll get it going. Did have some bright spots on Apple. And what else? I can't remember right now. But did have bright spots today. Here and there. Let me see. It was Apple. And what else? Oh, I hate when my mind goes bad. It was Apple. Oh, and RCL. I forgot about that one. Those are bright spots, but we'll get it back together next week. So you guys have a great night, great evening. All you members, look out for an email either this evening or in the morning with the link to the intro video. All right. So you guys have a good one.